is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network. Yeah. Flex on G. Flex.
All right, everybody. He has returned. Just like the man we're going to speak about again and again and again. It seems like he will never fade away. Of course, we are talking about The Undertaker. But we are also going to get into some other WWE news, maybe some other wrestling news here shortly, once I can figure this out here. All right. He is back, the Snowman. What's up, brother?
Keep going. I'm back.
He's back. I can't plug the dang mic back in. Go ahead, try it again. Try it.
Test.
Oh,
Hello.
there he is. There he is.
Yeah,
Snowman,
now
what up?
I'm back, and I'm not going away again.
There he is. I've been trying to get now. Test me the mic again here, Snowman.
Hello. Now we're back in business.
Okay,
Yeah,
there we
sounds
go.
great. He
Anyway,
sounds great.
other side of the glass, Michael, what's going on? We got the Snowman back in. We're trying to test your knowledge on some pro wrestling here with the super WWE freak, the Snowman. The Snowman, real quick though, before we get into this here, Stomping Grounds in our hometown, essentially.
At the T-Dome, baby.
Yep. And guess, Michael, go ahead and tell me what you laid witness to on your own. Go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you something here. I'm sitting here, I'm watching Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. They're over here picking a fight with Roman Reigns, kind of embarrassing this dude outside the ring. And I just happen, I don't typically look up into the crowd to see who's in the crowd, because most times I don't recognize anyone like I would know them. And I look up, and lo and behold, there's the man himself, Mr. Eric Snow, just sitting there mugging. And I'm like, holy crap, look at this diehard Mark over here, just breathing all this in, just loving every second of it, just getting all the TV fame, all the spotlight he can get. And there he was, just filling up my my television over there. And I could not believe it. It was incredible.
Oh yeah, that was a fun time going down there and being first row, getting to keep the souvenir chair with Mr. Roman Reigns on the chair, and seeing all that action down there. It was awesome. Can't be with a 10-foot pole.
Snowman, I myself am falling further and further from WWE graces. Would you say, I mean, as a true wrestling mark right now, I mean, and a guy that I would say would never ever fell out of WWE or pro wrestling as far as fandom, what do you say to the critics of the WWE product right now with AEW and New Japan and all the greatness that is outside of the WWE? What would you say to the critics about them telling you that the product is not very good right now? WWE ratings is the lowest they've ever been, almost. I think they achieved like the lowest rating they ever had, like just a few short months ago, under 2 million views for a Raw, I believe it was. What do you got to say to that? I mean, do you think the product is strong right now, or do you sense a little bit of this, demise that they're foreshadowing? I mean, what do you think?
I wouldn't say it's a demise. I'm saying it's like the stock market. It goes up, it goes down. There's some, go in the middle. There's some trends. It will go down for a while. It'll come back up every so often. And I'm someone that wants to, you know, stick it out. I'm an investor. I want to watch this thing how it's going to go. I'll watch other products. I'll watch Impact. I'll watch New Japan. Watch AEW that's coming up in October. So, but it's just a trend. It's gonna have its ups and downs, and you gotta think. WWE's calendar year. It starts from March, next goes from March, goes all the way through to from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. There's some trends of up and down. This year, coming from the Rumble through WrestleMania, we were getting pretty intrigued with what was going to happen with Ronda Rousey, with Becky Lynch. We got add Charlotte into the mix, and then everything was going on with Universal title and everything. You have all these stories that are, we're setting it up for WrestleMania. WrestleMania happens, big, New York, and then you have all this energy. It's like, okay, we made it. Now we got to start over again. And that's what happened. After WrestleMania, you have this starting over period where, okay, we gotta get some new stuff going. We can't, we gotta get some new people, new crop. Okay, so women's title, Becky Lynch, who's she gonna go up against? We can't put her against Charlotte. That just happened. Lacey Evans. Okay, someone new. We get to Money in the Bank. During this time, it's like it's slowly, it's not really good TV. They're slowly trying to get momentum back, after WrestleMania. That's what tendencies to happen after so many,
So what you're saying is maybe some of this is a little misguided. You're saying that people are just expecting it because it's WWE. They're just expecting it to be good all the time. But you're saying they just went to try to hit this culminating event, now we're back to episode 1 of the new season.
Yep,
where
episode 1, new year, and we got to start fresh. We got to start new, and got to get this ball rolling again because what's our next biggest pay-per-view of the year? SummerSlam. That's in the summer. We got to build up. Let's keep, we got to try to get momentum going and everything back up to par again.
So you are in full agreement that the product seems on one of those down waves of
I'm actually going to say, look at it differently because between WrestleMania and the Super Show in Saudi, that was a downtime. That was like, okay, we're trying, okay, throwing stuff at the wall. It's not sticking. People are not buying into this. People are not watching us. Okay. You got Brock Lesnar holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he's, threatening to, I'm going to cash in on you, Seth. I'm going to cash in on you, Dolph. Stay tuned and watch what I'm going to do. For weeks. Lacey Evans, this whole thing with her and Becky Lynch of, I'm going to, I cost you your SmackDown title at Money in the Bank, and I'm going to, continue to try to go after you. And those have been the main points. And then, of course, and with Seth also having Baron Corbin in his, after him now. So, I mean, it's just a trend. But I'm going to say this. Stomping Ground, for what it was built to, going into Stomping Ground, it looked like, okay, it's an okay pay-per-view. I mean, it's a brand new pay-per-view, and we're not going to have, that. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that big. But being there and watching what has happened, I'm going to say, I think this might be the start of the turnaround. It's a start. And it even creeped into Raw, and it creeped into SmackDown a little bit, but it creeped into Raw, in Everett, then went down to Portland. So it's starting. It's just starting to turn back up, to get back to where they were.
So let's review Stomping Grounds. Should we start there? Michael, what did you think about Stomping Grounds?
Well, I will say after the what was that Saudi pay-per-view called?
Super Showdown
Yeah, so Super
Part
Showdown.
2.
Yeah, part 2. A couple things that I had problems with going into that specifically was like you're not. It's just weird, like that we're in the midst. WWE is in the midst of this
Bad
women's
contract.
no women's
Okay.
evolution, and we're like really putting a lot of stock into our women's wrestlers, and well deserved, because they've really kind of transitioned into something that's a lot of times for me has been more exciting to watch than a good majority of the males. It was just weird to me that WWE signed a 10-year contract with the Saudis, and it was just kind of weird because we signed this 10-year contract knowing that they don't want to see any women's wrestling because it's a part of their culture that like women aren't in the ring working and all that type of stuff. So going into that, I didn't care too much for it, and then as the pay-per-view went on, I felt like it was okay. They to me it was a lot like the um they hyped something up to the point to try and get people really excited about. People just weren't really excited about it, and then it
Yeah,
kind of
they were trying.
undersold.
Yeah, they were trying to get everyone back for with Undertaker and Goldberg. That was their big selling point for that pay-per-view. Was, oh, we get to see Goldberg, get
Yeah.
to see Undertaker finally clash.
Yeah,
late.
and so Matt and I were talking on the phone the week before all of that, and we were just like, man, this would have been great 10 years ago. This would have been
No
sweet
doubt.
10 years
Even
ago.
20 years ago, really.
Yeah,
90,
and like
98,
we kind of
97.
we likened it to like if Undertaker and Sting could have gone at it during the Monday Night Wars days and those things. And
That would have been good.
and so it was just kind of like is a situation with that pay-per-view that I was very disappointed in it. I was very disappointed in the overall match between Goldberg and Undertaker because I felt like
It was
I
a
know that
botch
they're
fest.
both I mean, yeah, it was a botch fest, but I know that they're both old, but I think because Goldberg is in such good a shape at the age that he is, that they probably put too many cards out on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like they expected a little too much of him, and so that's kind of where I had the issue with it. And my major issue was that Goldberg has historically been known for having short matches, right? So
Mhm.
if you're not gonna
2 minutes.
allow the Undertaker to kind of bury Goldberg in a longer match, then you really shouldn't be having Goldberg in a longer match. You should. To me, it was either one guy buries or the other guy buries. It wasn't. It shouldn't have been as competitive as it was, in my opinion. Um, and so, like as I was watching it, I was like, oh man. And then you kind of see I was watching it live, so I saw Goldberg go for that spear, hit the turnbuckle, and I was like, "Oh man, he legit hit that turnbuckle. Like he's hurt, like for real, because he couldn't stand. Like Goldberg is plenty strong enough to pick up the Undertaker and put him on his shoulders, and he just couldn't do it, even with the Undertaker's help, because you could tell that the Undertaker was helping him and stuff like that. But Goldberg was obviously concussed and wasn't able to do some of the things that he's supposed to do. But anyway, moving on to like Stomping Grounds. Stomping Grounds, I expected literally the basement. I expected nothing. And so as Stomping Grounds went on, I was like, you know what? This isn't that bad. There's obviously spots where I felt like they could improve some of the storytelling. I didn't like the ways that some of these matches and things went. But I feel like I have that complaint every pay-per-view I see.
Yeah,
But I really felt like they could have done a whole lot worse than they actually did.
oh yeah, they could have done it a whole lot worse, especially for being a brand new pay-per-view and going into Stomping Grounds. It wasn't that well build of a card. You had rematches from rematches from Money in the Bank, and it was not. And that pay-per-view was was okay at best, but it turned out bad.
It's
Well, it was
essentially was every
the
match
same
from
card. It was the
yeah,
same
Yeah,
card
same
from
card.
Super Showdown. The only
Just-
thing you did was add some women's matches.
Exactly.
which I mean, I don't know. To me, the pay-per-view sucked. And I understand why you guys could say that it didn't, and this is my personal opinion, but it essentially to me was well wrestled, so great. But I'm sick and tired of just seeing wrestling. Like, I understand that on indie wrestling or like New Japan or Ring of Honor, because I don't really understand. I don't watch it so hardcore that I completely understand the storylines, but I feel like they can tell a better story in the ring versus like if you aren't caught up on WWE, which I am, right? But if you're not and you tune into WWE randomly, like for a pay-per-view or something like that, sometimes I feel like they let the outside of the ring stuff tell more of the story than they let their in-ring performance. And so I really watched it not giving a shit about the storylines because I don't care about any of the storylines on at the show. I don't care. The one I do, or the storyline I do care about right now is what Alexa Bliss is doing, which I really do. I like that. But see, outside of that, I really don't care about any of the storylines. And so it's kind of funny to watch a WWE match, even being completely caught up on the storylines, and I still don't care. And so watching these matches aren't telling me a story in the ring. They're not. They're just wrestling at a high level, albeit, but they're just wrestling, and the stories aren't being told to me. And so I really could care less about the pay-per-view. I just, to me, I care just as less about the Super Showdown. Didn't even watch it live. I did end up watching it, but I did not watch it live because I just don't care. They're doing absolutely nothing to draw me in right now. There's just a couple things on WWE programming that I really do enjoy, which I would like to get into it. But Snowman, like, so you were there, right? So obviously,
Yes, I was.
and you were a front row, and it's a different scene for you, even being a fan, because I know seeing it live is a lot different. But the pay-per-view, I mean, what did you honestly think about it? You said it was on it, you can tell they're coming back up, but like, was there anything specific that really stood out to you that you're like, man, that this has me, or this has grabbed me?
Well, with the kickoff show hitting, starting off with that triple threat match with the cruiserweight title, that was really a good way to start the night off. It was high energy, high pace, and guys that were just flying. It was a good match to start.
And my favorite guy came out ahead with the title.
Drew Gulak.
Yeah, Drew Gulak, I think, is one of the best things that 205 Live has going for it, and I really
and there's really not many things that they have going for them.
Well, now that they've got or now that they had Chad Gable show up, and Snowman, who was the other one that showed up, not other than Chad Gable? There was two guys that came from the main roster down to 205. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew Gable was one. I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check on that one.
Yeah, why don't you take a sip?
What is the Snowman sipping on over there?
He's sipping on
some Dew, the Liberty Brew.
The Liberty Brew Dew.
I thought he had a Bud Light can in.
I wish.
I was like, whoa.
I still got to drive, so
he still got to drive.
For sure.
So you like the cruiserweight? What about like the cage match? I think
the cage match was not real. You can't really call it a cage match, for the plain fact that it was more technical. It was like technical wrestling inside of a steel cage.
Exactly what I was talking about.
And I get it that, two guys who are, you have Kofi Kingston, high flyer. You got Dolph Ziggler, Mac technician to a point, but he can still do some stuff. But that was not the best time to use a steel cage. I can understand, it's the blowout feud, and normally blowout feuds end in the steel cage. like tonight on NXT, they're using the steel cage for the women's title.
There
Down
you
there?
go.
Down
Makes
there?
sense.
Cheap plug. So again, you got to pick and choose when you're going to be, what kind of style you're going to throw into matches. Iron Man match, you want to be, stretch it out. You want to wrestle. You want to, be strategic about your falls. 2 out of 3 falls, same thing. Condense it a little bit. But steel cage, you kind of want to, that's the type of match you just want to throw people against the cage. You want to try to escape. And you want to, at one point, maybe do, if you're Kofi Kingston, jump off the cage a little. But I will say this.
So no storytelling at all.
Some story, like a little. But what really was the fun part about that match was the ending of how that match ended. Dolph's going, trying to get out. He's hanging, slowly crawling out, almost out. And you see Kofi running and diving, making the leaping dive of faith through the top and middle rope, and lands outside, beats Dolph. That was like, I saw that. I'm like, whoa, are you kidding me? He made the dive? Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
that was impressive.
I personally thought that was pretty cool. The maneuver itself wasn't very impressive because of it just didn't look very difficult to do. But I would say that I would say that one, we haven't really seen an ending to a cage match specifically like that, so that was interesting. And then also WWE actually kind of pulling that and being like, oh, that's how we're gonna end it. It was just cool to see. It wasn't something like
it was something different.
It wasn't some. Yeah, it was different. You didn't expect it, and so and it kind of plays into Kofi's character a little bit in the way of
it should have been me.
He'll do whatever it takes to win that title, and it plays into kind of what Dolph was saying about it should have been me. Like I was right there, I was about to win, and then he dove out, and so it was just cool to see. I enjoyed it, and
this will actually
I liked
bleed
the finish.
Which will bleed into the discussion about SmackDown in Portland.
Yeah, we need to. So I feel like Stomping Grounds was just
okay.
We're getting it out of the way. Like that was WWE's thing. Let's get it out of the way, and then let's get to the next one, and then let's get to SummerSlam.
They still have Extreme Rules coming up.
Get through the next one, and then we'll get this.
Get to Toronto.
Matt, you would kind of reference earlier about like the possibility of us thinking that like Stomping Grounds was good. I still didn't think it was good. I just thought that in typical like WWE fashion that they could have done a lot worse. I don't think that I said that it was. I didn't think that it was good. I just think that they're like, oh man, you really could have crapped the bed a lot more than that. So thanks for not being as bad as you could have potentially been.
Right, 100%.
So I just wanted to clear that up. And Stomping Grounds necessarily isn't designed to be this this great pay-per-view. It's not a SummerSlam. It's not a like a TLC or Rumble or WrestleMania or anything. So
it's brand spanking new. So
the bar is already set pretty low. So whatever.
Well, so let's talk about Monday Night Raw, which I thought wasn't a bad Raw. I was there live in attendance myself because again, hometown, and then he was
same here.
Also front row.
You could see me again this time. Actually, I was third row this time around.
Third row,
but you could still see me.
Still see the guy
in the corner.
Biggest takeaway from Monday Night Raw. We're just gonna get into it right now.
Oh, are you asking me or are you just about to tell me?
I'm about to tell you Undertaker's return. Undertaker's return. Number one biggest deal of Monday Night Raw. And some people are completely shitting on it.
Which is annoying, by the way.
And I think they are shitting on it because of the whole involvement of Shane. There's not really a reason for him to be teaming up with Roman Reigns, like especially when Roman fucking retired him almost.
Yeah, he beat him at WrestleMania when he went off the ropes. Snowman, you remember that? He went off the ropes back
Yep.
and forth about a bazillion times before he finally speared him and beat him.
Oh yeah, he speared him down in Orlando. Sent him, made him put his coat down and hat. Walked out.
And
Last match of the night.
JR called that match, but that was when we were in the peak of Vince pushing Roman time,
Mhm.
pre-cancer, pre all that. So
Oh yeah, so that that was a great night. Raw was good. Good match, and then it was a good night, just all around. Okay.
So let's talk about this match a little bit. Extreme Rules are trying to set it up. Okay, so it's going to be Roman and Undertaker versus Shane and
Drew
McIntyre. I can't forget. Now,
Scottish psychopath.
here's the thing. I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm excited to see the match, but only for one reason. Because I'm sick and tired of these pay-per-views or these gimmick pay-per-views where it's TLC, where it's Hell in a Cell, but there isn't every match in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, or I could see where you're on that one, but it's it's Extreme Rules, so you expect some
stipulation to every match, right?
Back in 09, like 2010, when they first introduced the concept of it's Extreme Rules, all the matches are going to be, extreme.
Right. So if I don't get a freaking stipulation to every match, I'm not interested in it. Okay, but this is a good time to
just have a match.
No, I think it's a good time to bring Undertaker's final Hell in a Cell spot. I know that we're going to get Hell in a Cell pay-per-view at some point, which I definitely understand doing it then. But I think this is a really cool opportunity to fly Shane off the
rails,
the cell.
He's already done it once, and he almost killed.
Yeah, so
that was awesome in itself at WrestleMania. That was awesome in itself at WrestleMania in Dallas.
I just don't feel like I'm ready to see The Undertaker on an Extreme Rules pay-per-view and there not be
Extreme Rules.
Well, or something that sends him off in such a way that, because you got to say that this is the dude's last year, right? I mean, and so let's say it is, and it should be. If we don't get it at Hell in the Cell, which it's definitely possible that we do, but I would like to see it now. Because we know Shane can go off the cell. Anybody else who he's going to have a match with at Hell in a Cell, I don't see that's going to do a spot off the cell.
Yeah.
Shane's probably gonna, or he could. And so this would be just a good time for this to happen. And so I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not interested in this match at all, Michael. And what do you think as far as your interest? If it doesn't involve some stipulation that makes sense for the Undertaker's arrival, because right now, otherwise, why is he even in the match?
I will say a couple things. Number one, I was on Twitter and I read that I don't remember who the guy was, but he had just kind of randomly said, he's like, you know what? There's a lot of shows that have a lot of episodes, and they do this thing called spot casting, which is like, let's say it's NCIS, right? And you're halfway through the season and the ratings are low. They've been dipping the last couple of weeks. They're just not good. So what do? You advertise that John Cena is going to be on your episode or something like that. It's spot casting to kind of improve ratings. So now you get some like wrestling fans that are going to be like, oh, I'll tune in and watch that. John Cena is going to be on there, And so he was basically making the point that he's like, man, only in WWE do you can you spot cast, and everyone hates it because everyone is such a mark for the Undertaker, and everyone gets so mad that the Undertaker shows up because he looks old and he looks out of shape and his hair's thinning and you can tell that he's wearing makeup and all of this stuff. And one guy comments and he's like, dude, who cares? he has the gimmick of a dead man. Do you want him to look like he's 25, 30 years old? And so it was just, I don't know, man. It's just really funny to kind of see how people react to it. I will say that as far as like in-ring performance goes, that this isn't the worst Undertaker we've seen. Him pre hip replacement was the worst. He could barely move. He could barely get around the ring. And then when he came back after his hip surgery, he was doing old school again, going off the ropes and all that type of stuff. You got something to say, Eric? You seem like
Well,
you got something to say.
you talk the pre-hip surgery. We're talking like before he left, and in '99, and he came back as American Badass.
No, he had another hip replacement.
Okay.
He had a hip replacement surgery, and recovered and was going through rehab just before he wrestled John Cena at WrestleMania.
Okay.
So what was that? 2 years ago?
That was a couple.
Cena didn't have an opponent for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and
that was at New Orleans. That was at New Orleans the second time.
Yeah, so 2 years ago. But anyway, back to what I was saying. As far as interest for the match goes, I would just say that I don't really care to see a whole lot of The Undertaker in the match. I feel like Roman Reigns should carry the match, either get beat up or have a good amount of offense in the match. And The Undertaker should come in for like
a hot tag.
Yeah, like a hot tag or dramatic relief, whatever you want to call it, and kind of do some of the things that he does, his little boxing thing that he does in the turnbuckle, or some old school or a couple hip tosses or something like
snake
that.
eyes.
And yeah, whatever he's got. And I wouldn't want to see Taker out there wrestling a whole lot. But I will say that if Taker is wrestling, I feel like Shane is athletic enough and sells enough to the point where Shane and Taker definitely have some type of chemistry. I don't know what the deal is with that, but maybe it's just because of the amount of times that they've wrestled over the years. But, yeah, they seem to have a pretty good amount of chemistry because even looking back to when Shane first came back, the Taker Shane WrestleMania match, I was like, I don't really feel like there was any botches in that match, and so
there wasn't.
They obviously have that chemistry, so I would enjoy seeing that. I just don't know how much Taker I care to see. I would just, like I said, I would just say I would stay with Roman kind of carrying the match.
Oh yeah, Roman would be the one who would carry the match, and just like you said, he would come in for a hot tag, maybe even once in a while, like like how Daniel Bryan got tagged in at Stomping Ground and Raw, like, oh, Undertaker, like, you want him? Like, okay, come in for a little bit and then come back out. So something like that. But Roman would definitely carry the match.
I think you're going to get a lot more tag. I think you're going to get a lot more wrestling than you think, which in a tag match, if you have a tag match full of Undertaker for 5 minutes and then Roman for 20 minutes, that's a shitty tag match. Nobody wants to watch that tag match. So I think you're going to get a lot more wrestling than you think.
Yeah.
Snowman, I got one question just to kind of wrap up this whole feud thing that we got going here with Taker and all them. What on a scale of 1 to 10, what was your shock value when you heard that Undertaker bell hit? Like, I mean, because you were there, and it was, I would say that I was pretty shocked. I felt like it was going to be one of those situations where Drew McIntyre and Shane were just going to beat up on Roman, and then maybe the Usos or someone like that would come out and help. But like, I didn't expect a whole lot, but to hear that, Taker's music kind of hit, I was like, whoa, I couldn't believe that. So
yeah, you and
scale of 1 to 10.
You and everyone else, including us two, you and everyone else at Angel of the Winds, we were shocked. I didn't even think he was even going to be there.
Time out. What did you call that place?
Angel of the Winds Arena. That's what it's called.
Angel of the Winds. What is that?
Trust me, we've been going through some name changes over here. It was Comcast Arena when it first opened.
No, because
now it's Angel of the Winds.
I remember Everett Event Center. and then
Well,
a slight change to
yeah.
Comcast.
Well, then it got changed to Xfinity Arena, and now
Oh,
Angel of the Winds bought the contract, the naming rights, and they have it for quite a while. But yeah, you and everyone else there, we were shocked. We didn't expect it at all.
So scale of 1 to 10, are you saying
10.
it's a straight up 10?
10.
What about for
12.
you, Matt? 12.
Yeah.
Okay. What about for you, Matt?
No, I was 12. I had about 4 ciders, and I was
Yeah.
just sitting there like, oh, and I had literally tuned out. I had been sitting there. This is a classic WWE. They go the 2-on-1 stomp down, beat down, music hits, they walk away. It goes to a fucking commercial. I was feeling that the whole way through, of just snoozing almost in my seat, and then fucking the lights go out. I'm
Dong.
like, ah, shit. I was going nuts.
If you go back and watch on the network, or anytime, if you can actually find it, if you look in the corner of the ring post, you can see my funky, me in the white hat going, oh, he's here. Like, I'm like excited because I seriously did not know he was not going to, I didn't know he was going to be there.
So did you
setting up for that coast to coast, and then having that gong hit is like, oh.
Did you go with someone, Snow, or
I was with my mama. With my mama.
Oh, okay, cool.
We like doing that. We like going to wrestling.
Nice.
I love seeing your mom at the wrestling
shows. We were at both Stomping Grounds and at Raw.
So what do you think about jumping into some WWE Twitter here for a second and just kind of seeing what's floating around the universe? Because I have a question. I want to read a couple things off of Twitter, and then I have a question that I want to ask, and both of you can kind of respond to it.
Well, I have a question for the both of y'all, because we're
go with that first.
We're in a month now into this 24/7 title reign era. And you know what? From the last broadcast of this, and me going, should have made it hardcore, come back to me when that happens. I'm actually quite surprised about how interestingly funny this segment of the show is on the programming. It's funny. I had during the Raw show, Truth coming down, the superstars coming down, they were coming right next to me, that area. I was like, dude, this is funny to watch, especially how it's, you got what happened on last Thursday with Maverick getting pinned at his own wedding. That was funny on its own.
That was classic.
That was, one of those like, wow, they really went there. I'm actually surprised. It's no longer the 24/7 title. It's the schoolboy title, because that's all they're using is the schoolboy to roll them up.
That's true, which is kind of retarded, or sorry, kind of lame.
But my question is, how do you guys feel about it now? After month in, with R-Truth having 8 title reigns, and we got to see EC3 get a reign.
Yeah, I will tell you that it is pleasantly surprising how much I do enjoy it, which is definitely awesome. But it is too soft. It is too soft for me. The comedy of it is very fun, and I really thoroughly do enjoy the comedy of it.
It's refreshing.
It is refreshing, and that's cool because you used to get that back in the day a lot. Stone Cold, coming to beat up Vince McMahon in the doctor's office, or
Bedpan 316,
or even just with the hardcore title from back then, because you used to see a lot of cool little spots with that, and you are getting it
in the airport,
and they're doing a good job of it now. Where I think they do falter is it's now becoming a slight gimmick, so they've had to improve their writing, and they are so that's good. I just don't want to see it get corny. I just don't want to see it get corny. And for a second there, it was getting a little corny, but they snapped out of it by getting to the wedding, which was kind of funny. Now Drake Maverick is like, it's like he's crying. Yeah, it's like his whole soul to have this title. And then R-Truth says, well, see ya,
No.
And then he got rocked by an elbow. I don't know if you see that. I think it was Shelton Benjamin. he just rocked the guy. So it is funny, and it is pleasantly surprised, or I am pleasantly surprised.
You're talking about Drake Maverick got rocked by an elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
No,
pouring
because
his
he took that one-on-one match with R-Truth, and that's how R-Truth beat him. Is he rocked him with that elbow?
No, I was
He beat
talking
him
about in the back.
No, the backstage, where he's like, I have no referee, telling how he felt with it. It was on SmackDown, and he just turns
Okay, I
around.
thought you were talking about Raw.
R-Truth books it, and Shelton Benjamin just the whole crowd, massive crowd of superstars, and all we see is Drake getting
Right,
down.
for sure.
Yeah, he got rocked. So I think it's definitely fun. I'm interested in it, but for what it was supposed to do, it was supposed to be in the 3rd hour of Raw, and you're seeing it all over the place. And so it's just kind of, the continuity doesn't work for me, which is what's turning me off to the product. Like, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Michael. I'm sure you think it's also funny, but think about this, okay? So who beat the New Day at Stomping Grounds?
KO and Sami Zayn.
Okay, so when you open up SmackDown and you have the New Day going to face the title holders, and if they win the match, they get a freaking championship opportunity. Or no, who did they wrestle? It wasn't.
It basically they had a copy of what happened on Raw. They were facing
Daniel Bryan,
DB, and
if they won, then the stipulation was that they would get a shot at the titles.
Mm-hmm.
But they just lost to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn 2 days ago
at the pay-per-view.
Okay.
And on
how does that make
Raw.
sense? How does that make sense? Why would they get a shot at the titles? And then, because it so much doesn't make sense, you get through the match, and then all of a sudden you get jumped by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and then Heavy Machinery comes out and defends, everybody, and now it's a fucking 8-way or a, 8-man. And the guys who are deserving of the title shot had to get their way in somehow. And it's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, if you remember from Raw, they had the SmackDown and the Raw Tag Team Champions in a 8-man tag with New Day and the Usos. So you have the SmackDown challengers and the Raw challengers going against the champs, and that ended up with Usos winning. SmackDown, you go and you have New Day and Heavy Machinery taking on the SmackDown Tag Team Champions of Daniel Bryan and Rowan and Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. So, I mean, they just changed it up to a point where, I mean, it's still an 8-man tag and it's getting some stuff, out there, but it's just just something for these guys to do. And especially with Daniel Bryan being in the Northwest, this is have a match for him where he doesn't have to be the center of the,
it doesn't matter.
It helps him.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it has no.
Is Heavy Machinery that Otis dude?
Yeah.
And,
Otis and
Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Otis and Tucker for Heavy Machinery, and surprisingly,
that Otis
Tucker
dude
is Portland.
Strong.
He's from Portland.
Yeah, he's Oregon. So I didn't find that out until during the Stomping Grounds pay-per-view. They had mentioned he was from Portland or from that area, from Oregon. So
yeah, that Otis dude is strong as heck. Because Rowan went for like a he went off the ropes and he jumped to do like a cross body, and Otis just caught him, and I was
he's a brick.
He's a brick. Yeah, he's a brick bowling ball.
Yeah,
and he could do the worm.
Yeah, and he's able. He's athletic. I mean, he's also going to be one of those guys that if you see in like 4 years, has just completely died from heart overload. Like, he's going to be one that you could see that happen to, because not only is he a fucking brick, but he he's agile. So now he's got to carry around all that weight, but he's fucking going here, there, everywhere, fast. You know, you saw him run to the ring with Tucker, and he was keeping up with Tucker till about halfway. And as they got into the ring, Tucker got in, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, where'd he go? And then and there he is.
Well, they're trying to do like the
he's like
bushwhackers stuff. You know, the
dude. He's like he's like, if you ever watch Hornswoggle run, he was kind of like what Hornswoggle looked like when he was running. You're like, he can't help it. His legs are just so much shorter that it takes him a few extra steps to get there. So just give the guy a break. And it was just, I don't know, dude. That tag team is super entertaining to me, and
that
I
tag
really
team's
enjoy
gonna go
watching
far.
it, so.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
They're great. Sorry to interrupt you, Michael. So what'd you have from Twitter?
Okay, so Twitter, we will consult the Twitter of said wrestler at WWE Rollins. Okay.
Look how his eyes like just light up.
So yeah. So
I gotta have a little
Rollins
fun
was
here.
in. So Rollins was kind of in a Twitter feud with pretty much all of wrestling, all of wrestling outside of WWE at some point. Where I kind of chimed in was, I see this tweet and it says, doubling down, best pro wrestling on this planet. Did you see that cruiserweight triple threat match? And that's just one night, one match amongst the many. Find anyone else alive who does what I do as well as I do it and as often as I do it. You can't. And then hashtag Stomping Grounds, hashtag WWE Universal Champion, all that. And so when I read that, I was like, first of all, if you're asking if I saw the cruiserweight triple threat, the answer is no, because cruiserweights for most of it have not been entertaining, so I don't even watch it. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I typically don't even watch it. And this is all kind of like off the back of like some shade that like some either indie wrestlers or wrestlers from other promotions. So this Will Ospreay guy, who is he with?
New Japan, I think.
Yeah, he's with New Japan.
New Japan. Okay, so he had kind of made some comments about like
he first said that he was alive. So basically,
I'm alive.
He said I'm alive, basically saying, "Hey Seth, I'm alive and I can do what you can do." And then then Seth Rollins proceeded to big.
Well, that was in response to that tweet that I just read. And so he said, "I'm alive." And so Rollins kind of he just like there was some heat on Twitter for like just some of the backlash from Stomping Grounds, right? And so Rollins, in a very, I view it kind of like a very passive aggressive type of way, and this is kind of how, this is not just a Rollins thing. This is just a social media, how people interact on social media in general. He had said, seeing the tweet that WWE put out about, it says WWE superstars look to kick butt and take names at Stomping Grounds, blah blah blah, all that, right? And so all these people were like, "Oh, Stomping Grounds is gonna be garbage," and it kind of leaked into the show. They're like, "Oh, I told you it's gonna be garbage." This match sucked. This is why, just all these trolls are on there. And Rollins hops on there and he retweets, or he does the subtweet or the quote tweet or whatever, and he puts his caption on there which says "Best pro wrestling on the planet, period." Right? And so now you get other wrestlers jumping in, and so I don't know. Cage Side Seats tweeted, said, "Remember when Seth Rollins said that WWE had the best pro wrestling in the world?" And then Rollins kind of comes back at him and said, "Sure do. And after that pay-per-view, I stand by it even more. The crew brought it tonight from top to bottom. Our effort was everything, and every person in the ring worked their butts off. And you're still talking about the writing. And I guess Cage Side Seats had kind of sent this gif of Donald Duck just kind of cracking up in a chair and like laughing his butt off and all that stuff. And so it goes on and on and on and on for a long time. And then eventually you get to a point where Kenny Omega kind of chimes in after WWE had announced that that they were gonna air something at the same time that what's AEW's pay-per-view coming up? Matt, do you
Fight
know
for
what
the
that is?
Fallen.
Yeah, so Fight for the Fallen is basically it's I guess the proceeds are going to either police officers or veterans and who died in their active service and stuff like that. And so Kenny Omega had kind of said some things about like, you know, how he just thinks it's ridiculous that WWE is going to air something at the same time as, and he put in quotations, as a charity event, because all the proceeds are going to I guess the fallen heroes and all that stuff. And so it's just been interesting, and all that to say, and I guess Snowman, I'll start with you. Is Twitter slash social media making wrestling better or worse? And kind of to follow up on that real quick, if it is making it better or worse, explain something like in the Attitude Era, would you have enjoyed seeing Booker T and The Rock kind of go at it on Twitter in, you know, in the prime of the Monday Night Wars, or would you think that would have made it worse?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to say it would have made it better. Because you gotta think, especially now with social media is being used a lot. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You got a lot of avenues to communicate. You got a lot of avenues to get your word out, get your product out, express your views, your points. And right now, it's a great way to, extend storylines. It's a great way to, throw stuff in there. It's like little extra seasoning on a rivalry, because I only get so much time on the camera and on a mic or backstage, and I get so much time in the ring. Well, I got unlimited time on Twitter. I got unlimited time on Facebook, YouTube to, add some stuff, make this rivalry a little bit better. And with, I would have thought Booker T and The Rock would have gone at it, in 2000 and 2001. This would have been great for that last little ditch effort for WCW between these two, because these two would have been sucker and jabroni and everything under the sun with these two. That would have been fun to watch, just how they're interacting with each other. So it would have made it a lot better.
Yeah, I think the opposite. I actually think that social media is ruining wrestling. Mainly because I like to be completely 100% like suspended in disbelief. And like when they are acting like themselves on social media and not their characters, or if they are overdoing something on social media to try to add that extra oomph, again, I'm kind of going back to the in-ring product where they're not telling the story in the ring. They're telling it outside the ring. Now, I get why they have to go this way, because that is the world. I mean, just like you said, you have all the time you have in the world on Twitter if you want to be on Twitter or be able to look at what they are doing. But
between shows, from going from point A to point B, even on your day off.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. But my problem is that they're relying too much on this social media. They're not reintegrating it back into the live product. So in case you don't have social media, you're completely left out on an island. Sometimes they do somewhat of a good job, at least sometime, showing you. But like when they were doing that Becky versus Ronda stuff, Becky had a lot of good barbs and jabs on Twitter.
Don't mess with her on Twitter.
Yeah,
she'll burn you alive.
Yeah, you don't mess with her, but somehow Seth Rollins is completely going into dust. But and then also, not to mention, and I know this has nothing to do with this, and we talked about this earlier separately, Michael, but the dirt sheets. I have had so much stuff kind of spoiled to me because of social media. Like, you'll just go on, it's like, rumor has it that you know, even right now, and this will be my nice little transition into finishing this podcast and talking about SmackDown, because I think we have to get there. SmackDown, as much as Undertaker had his thing, SmackDown was really like had some huge things we have to talk about before this ends, but and I'll kind of translate this. But you know, when you talk about for instance, Aleister Black. Okay, so we're gonna transition.
Oh my God, do I want to talk about that
Okay, so let's
bad.
let's talk about Aleister Black. Okay, so he's cutting promos.
He's looking for a fight.
He's looking for a fight.
Give me someone to fight, please.
And so here's the thing.
Test me.
His promo right now is getting to the point where it's a little bit monotonous, a little bit sticky. The reason why I say that is you're looking for a fight, Aleister. Okay. You're a dude that has no problem finding a fight if you want. Essentially, what you're telling me is you're locking yourself in some random ass dark room in the stadium and not out in the ring just asking for a fight. Because you know, you just go to the ring. Somebody will come and fight you. So
call someone out.
It's getting call someone out. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of getting,
or get that 24/7 title. Then you got to fight.
Sure, there you go. And then it's kind of getting a little bit. But I love Aleister Black. I think he's kind of a hero right now because maybe not doing anything in the ring is good right now for some of these guys. But here's the thing: you go on Twitter right now, and you'll have people that are like, "Hey, rumor has it that it's this guy." Because we got a knock at his door on SmackDown, okay, and we don't know who it is, so it's a good little lead. I'm interested. You know, you got me, but you'll go right to Twitter, and I hear it's this person. Rumor has it it's this, and it's like, well, fuck. Do you just expect me not to go on Twitter? You know, like
no. But you also gotta look at it this way. It's like rumor has it. Well, rumors are like farts. They come and they go. It's everything.
Okay, it's not a cast without a fart reference. It comes and it goes. Silent.
Take it with a grain of salt, because I've read so much, stuff online. It's like, oh, rumor has it this person's gonna be here. It's like, okay, great.
Right. Rhonda was at Raw the other day, and she might, yeah.
Okay, but
4 horsewoman.
Until I hear her theme or until I see her, come out, I'm just gonna take it with a grain of salt.
So that's basically what I was saying is, I get that Twitter and social media is great for the feud when you're popping little tidbits here or there, the extra spice. But social media, in my eyes, when it comes to shit like, people sometimes really know this stuff, and so it's like kayfabe is dead, when you have Twitter and social media. And so Aleister Black, let's get into that. His promos at first were really great. It just got monotonous last night, but we got the knock.
We're getting the start.
Who's knocking on his door and why?
First of all, Bray Wyatt is knocking at that door, hopefully, for the sake of everything WWE writing has ever done. If Bray Wyatt is not knocking at that door, I'm so upset. Because Bray Wyatt's cutting these promos with the Firefly Funhouse all the time, talking about, just let me in. Yeah,
right.
That's all you have to do is let me in. And so,
not only that, but after the knock, dude, the door opens and you got Bray Wyatt in that fucking mask.
Oh god, dude.
Well, we did get a little
so
tease
perfect.
with it on Raw. If you saw
the SmackDown
before the commercial for Miz TV, you saw in the back like little peeking like over here, that little black little doll chick, that gothic little chick doll.
Is that the Abigail doll?
Abigail.
Yeah, the Abigail doll.
Yeah, and then on SmackDown you saw the pig in the back as well. So very good placement.
Who's the pig behind?
Oh, I forget. Somebody walking to the ring or something. Fucking something.
Well,
he's got to be coming back
I just
soon.
think that it is. It has been anytime we've talked WWE on this podcast, it has been very kind of well documented that Matt and I both agree on one thing when it comes to WWE. It is that they're failing miserably as far as writing goes. But the one thing they get right is kind of how they're handling the whole Bray Wyatt situation. I mean, there's
It's
a lot of
working.
suspense. Everything is very creative about the Firefly Funhouse. It's very creative.
Basically, we got a
it kind of
psychiatrist
almost
Rogers.
Yeah, it kind of almost writes itself because Bray Wyatt is so good on the mic that he could, you could write almost anything and he could go up there and deliver it no problem.
He could sell a
Um,
ketchup ice, a popsicle to a woman in white gloves and make
right.
it sound good.
There we go. There we go. Here we go.
So okay, so
Now-
you think it's Bray Wyatt, but what
God,
about you,
I-
Snowman?
I hope so.
I'm actually jumping on board this. Yeah, I think it's got to be Bray Wyatt because, again, he's been teasing for so long. Let me in. The Firefly Funhouse, and we've been expecting it for a while. To like, okay, yeah, we've been building, and you brought out the new freak mask of the psychotic clown that you literally skinned alive. It looks like.
I like
and
that.
It's
That's
like,
funny.
okay,
like a real
we got-
clown was
we
skinned
got-
alive.
Okay,
yeah.
we have the
Yeah.
monster now. We're and now you got Aleister Black saying, someone come fight me. Well, let me in. You got him.
Well-
That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be Wyatt
Can I stop both of you right here?
in a dark match
Let
of
me.
darkness.
Okay, so we're in agreement that Bray Wyatt's the hottest thing in WWE right now. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the
without
absolute-
actually being in a ring. Yeah.
Yeah, on the mic, yeah, or in a promo right now, he's the hottest thing, bro.
He's the hottest thing. Okay,
Interesting.
Aleister Black, still relatively new from NXT, like hasn't been in his own singles feud ever. Okay.
Yeah, because he's been with tag teaming with Ricochet.
And that's gone. Ricochet's gone and won his title, which we
Mhm.
haven't even talked about. I'm sorry.
That was awesome.
Okay, he won his title. Great. I'm not interested in it right now because again, it's to fluff Ricochet when he doesn't need any fluff.
Well,
It was
actually, with Ricochet now on Raw facing AJ Styles, that was a good match. That was a good match to watch.
yeah, and you're gonna get good matches. My
And
problem is
returning AJ Styles.
if it's overplayed and you just run that same match every single time, then yeah, it's great. But again, after 3 or 4 times of you having that match, then you're going to get kind of what happened with Finn Balor. Not what happened with Finn Balor, but it's like every match is almost the same with Finn.
Oh,
But
now that you're speaking Finn, I'm
gonna get there. Well, we can't possibly get to everything. So here's the things we're gonna miss today: Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. They're setting that up. That's great. That's a good match. And then they're setting up Ricochet and AJ Styles. Again, good matches. My problem is I need more story, which I don't have from Ricochet, and they haven't gave Shinsuke great writing. Since he's been freaking in the WWE, essentially, to me. And then Finn is great, but I feel like the only real thing that tears me from Finn is that he wrestles the same match every time, which is a phenomenal match. It's high pace and he can do everything until you get to like gimmick matches where his spots, I mean, he's getting slammed on the ladder. That's Finn,
Oh yeah,
right? But
or you get Demon.
I want the Demon. And so that's why you love Finn, is because you don't get the same guy every time. Or if you
Tale of
do
two
after a
halves.
while, you can get the Demon. So here's what I'm saying. Aleister Black, Bray Wyatt, both of them ideally are being pushed to the moon. They are. They're giving Aleister these independent promos. They're giving Bray these independent promos.
On both shows.
So if they're setting up a Bray Wyatt, Aleister Black match, does one of these guys, who in my opinion are both on fire right now in the WWE, getting their own promos on TV, do one of these guys lose out incredibly if they take a loss to the other? And why would you wait to take that loss right now when that is a feud that you can build for 6 months and then have the match at WrestleMania, to where if you take the L it's worth it now versus just some first match, small storyline, you know. So answer the question, Michael. Does if Aleister Black, okay, Bray Wyatt's not losing, right? Bray Wyatt
No
cannot
way.
lose.
No.
So does
no,
Aleister
no.
Black take a really big loss if he loses to Bray? Like, where is Aleister? Like, you can't put Aleister in a title match after he loses to Bray, who's not even in a title hunt right now. Like, so what happens? Is this bad for Aleister Black?
No, before we get to that, Matt, I would just say that going back to the Ricochet thing, you and I'm about to reference something that you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say it. Ricochet just needs to worry about washing his hands.
Yeah. Damn it. Damn it.
Anyway,
Good thing he doesn't do the mandible claw.
oh
That's his
god.
finish.
Oh my god.
Dude, don't cry.
Woo. Okay.
Aleister Black,
Okay.
does he
Anyway,
hurt? Does his
Al-
character take a big hurt if he takes a loss?
I wouldn't say so because he could take a big loss in match 1 and be okay, but for the sake of the feud, he could keep coming back. And because of both of these guys have the ability to be so good with their promos, I feel like you could really stretch this thing out and have a feud for from essentially from here all the way up to SummerSlam. You could run a feud. And
But how do you run a feud for 6 or 7 months, or 7 months, 7 weeks? Like, what does the feud consist of? Hey, I'm better than you. I'm Bray Wyatt though, but I'm Aleister Black, and then Aleister Black takes a loss. And then what do you do?
I don't really know because I don't know what writing.
Okay, so we've agreed that writing sucks, like lately. So
but a couple of the things that they do get right is the darker stuff. I feel like they get right, but the normal like things that we would consider layups, they can't get right for whatever reason. Maybe it's a situation where they just think about it too much, or they, you know, they just think,
Lacey and Becky and Baron Corbin and Seth situation.
right. It's just like you're just thinking too much. Just do what you know you're supposed to do, and it'll be all right. But like, I feel like with the darker stuff, so like with Bray Wyatt, or if you have a Aleister Black, or like any of the darker type stuff, I feel like they get right because it's a little bit easier to tell a story because you can pull from kind of like a demon side or a dark side or an all a different like a supernatural power that's compelling you to do the things that you do, that is controlling your will for these things. And so I think that you have that ability to write, and it gives you a little bit more wiggle room with it. So
Oh yeah, I agree with you because if you look over at Impact Wrestling, what they're doing with Rosemary, she's hitting home runs. You know, with Allie and what, you know, Father James Mitchell, what they're doing over there, they're pulling, you know, stuff out of their hats, and it's working over there with the dark stuff. It's working. So it just you just gotta have, it's gotta be the right timing and the right situation. And with Bray and Aleister Black, you might have, there might be something there, but I think you need to, it needs to be, you know, like what, you know, you're saying, Matt, of how you're going to build this thing, you know, for 6 or 7, you know, months, or even 7 weeks.
Sorry, yeah.
For weeks, even to get to SummerSlam. I'm thinking you might want to, you know, like, I interfere in your match, you know, or you know, I hurt you a little bit, you know, backstage and knock you out for a little bit, and then you interfere in my match, I interfere in your match, and then we just, let's go, you know, let's have a match at SummerSlam. Just to stretch it out. You don't need to have matches up to it, but, you know, to interfere in your matches, or something, you know, like you distract me with, you know, an episode of Firehouse, you know, the Funhouse, you know, just to do that, and then have maybe you know, Black win the match at SummerSlam, because Bray Wyatt can take the loss. done
I
it
don't
for,
think he can.
he's done it for so
No,
long
no,
with
he
Taker
can't.
and
He
He
can't.
he
Not
can
right
and
now.
survive, but at this point, you've invested so
You've
much time and
already
so
left
much.
him off TV. You've already
Yeah,
like killed
I
him.
agree.
He
I
is. This
agree.
is
he's
Bray
had
Wyatt's.
experience
Yeah, but
with
this is Bray
so
Wyatt's.
he can take it.
No, this is Bray Wyatt's last shot. Like after this, fans are no longer backing him. When he falls from this height right now, just like what just happened, there's no other way you can go. I mean, you've just killed him and brought him back in the public eye. You've got this new character that's not new. It's the same character. The only way to go from here is turning him complete babyface. And like you can't do that. So Bray Wyatt, because here's the problem with Bray Wyatt when he first came around, right? He was fire. Like everyone loved him. They loved the darkness, they loved the character, but then once you start losing, once these matches, once your character is no longer
A threat.
yes, then you're nothing. And that's exactly why you can't have him lose. Like his character is the biggest fucking threat right now in WWE. He could legit, Bray Wyatt right now could pull up shop on Seth Rollins and take Seth Rollins' title. Like,
Or Kofi.
no, I mean, Seth Rollins is the face of the company, a baby face to the max. Seth
Right.
Rollins can't lose to anybody right now. It doesn't bring credibility. If Seth Rollins loses to Brock
Baron.
Lesnar,
Or Brock.
that would be the only thing. Like, oh, it's Brock. But who can beat Brock besides Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns? Drew McIntyre might be able to, but he's too young to carry the company. Bray Wyatt could legit step in against Brock and take the title. That's how like scary of a threat this character is. They don't have anybody on the roster. They used to have Braun Strowman. And guess what happened? There's no threat anymore.
Yeah, because you had Roman. I mean, you had Brock, you had
Braun. I'm talking about Braun.
Braun. You had Braun, you had Samoa Joe. Or even remember SummerSlam, that fatal 4-way match for the Universal title. You had the top 3 guys that could probably do it, that could take Brock out. And they just they threw everything at Brock and he still walked out of the title.
Exactly. And so what happened? Braun Strowman is now on a fucking tug-of-war match on Raw. A tug-of-war.
And
it's just ridiculous, and it's exactly what they did to the Big Show. Once the Big Show started losing, what happened to him?
He was in a sumo match at WrestleMania 21.
He's a baby face now. You don't give a shit about him.
Or he'll switch to...
He's fighting Floyd Mayweather at WrestleMania, or he's doing all these stupid gimmick celebrity type stuff. And that's the thing is like, Braun Strowman's being wasted, and he's too young, and I guess a little bit too immature to realize that he's being wasted. And so it is what it is. And Matt, I agree with you just completely with the whole Bray Wyatt thing. He can't lose. There's no way, because they spent too much time, too much resources, all these things building this story. They've given, I mean, even as something as subtle as like giving the Sister Abigail doll TV time behind the Miz, and like the little pig thing, giving him time and all that stuff. I mean, you're obviously continuing to build this, and so there's no way that he can lose. But my only thing, Matt, and I'll kind of bounce this question back to you, is if Aleister Black does lose, in what way do you think he would lose? And then also, how could that feud continue, and what would they do? Because like Aleister Black's just been basically cutting. It's not like he's done anything special. He's just cutting promos saying like, I need a challenger. I need someone to fight. And
yeah,
so,
but
like,
where
would you go with that?
If that challenger is Mojo Rawley, then you don't give a shit.
Right.
And so you look at Aleister Black, knowing his character, right before they took Aleister Black off TV, okay, he had the single best entrance in WWE, and they were calling him the next Undertaker. The next character that legit has some kids kind of frightened, and so but you put him in a fucking babyface tag team with Ricochet. Okay, what you need to be
It worked
doing.
it worked at NXT because they were doing the Dusty Classic. So
It
and
only
and
worked at
bled,
all.
and it bled into WrestleMania for the tag team title. So they were pulling double duty for that whole thing.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about NXT when it gets to Raw. No, they wipe away NXT like it was not even a thing on the main roster.
Yeah, tell that to the Viking Warriors.
The Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whatever their name
the Viking
is.
Experience. Yeah, like it's stupid because they were a badass tag team as the War Raiders. Okay.
And then they go through 2 name changes or 3.
And now you almost haven't seen him because they realize that, oh crap, we can't just do this anymore, but they still do it. It's ridiculous. But to answer your question, I don't think it's Bray Wyatt at all. I don't think Bray Wyatt's knocking on the door. You know, there's some speculation out there, and again, only because of social media, that it's somebody. And if you guys don't know, I'm not going to say it to you. Hopefully, you don't know, and then you can be surprised. But it's not a surprise. So that match that if you see the fucking rumors and they end up being real, that match is not exciting to me other than the athletic prowess. I want somebody to come in there that you can put Aleister Black over. You can keep his character dark, ominous, and intriguing. And then you put Bray. I actually see Bray interfering in Extreme Rules and going after The Undertaker, because The Undertaker can lose to Bray. The Undertaker is somebody who can lose to Bray, put Bray over, and Bray can avenge his loss at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, from
That
31.
would be dope. Getting some darkness against darkness.
Well, actually, from WrestleMania 31 and at Survivor Series from his anniversary for his 25 years.
There you go.
So
that's what I want. That's what I think could happen. And then that way you don't have to have Roman lose, Shane lose, because Shane's one of the better heels in the company right now, just as far as what they're booking him as. And then Drew McIntyre, he's going to take a loss. I mean, if he does, it's against Roman again. You know, it's like, geez, Drew's nothing now, you know? And so I think the honest best way is Bray Wyatt shows up, fucking takes The Undertaker under the fucking ring, just like Undertaker does to people back in the day. Everybody gets spooked and just clears. And that would be dope. That would be so dope. And then all of a sudden you're just like, what the fuck was that? And then Aleister Black, tough to call. Who would benefit
who
from
wants to get black masked?
Exactly. It's that match is tougher to call, to see who would benefit from a small storyline with him and then an eventual build up to that match together. So I really don't know. I'll have to be waiting and seeing about that. But to finish this cast, because we've gone a long time.
Well, before we get
to
your part, this is something that if you guys noticed or watched the Stomping Ground pay-per-view and saw the first match on the actual card and Lacey Evans' outfit, how ridiculous was that?
The outfit?
Yes.
I don't remember the outfit off the top of my head.
Well, someone decided on Facebook, and I think you're going to get a kick out of this too. Someone compared Lacey Evans' outfit to the KFC bucket.
Oh okay.
God.
And who wore it better? I found that funny as hell. After the event, I'm like, okay, just scrolling through, Facebook, like, okay. And I see someone posted, oh, who wore it better, Lacey Evans or the KFC bucket?
I'm going to consult the internet right now.
Yeah, I'm consulting. I see what you're saying.
Because of how bad. I mean, Lacey, I'm sorry, but you should not be in the title match. I hope to God at Extreme Rules in that winner take all tag team match that you lose.
Another match that doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, these guys have lost every single chance that they've had.
Money in the Bank and at Stomping Grounds. They both lost.
And I mean, they're pushing Lacey Evans, and I really love Lacey Evans. I think she's a phenomenal character, but she's botching these matches, dude, and it's
Horribly.
tough. It really is tough because every single time there's something goes wrong, even when she walks to the ring in her referee outfit, being picked as a special guest referee,
That was a
trips.
curveball that I didn't expect. Because at the event, I'm hearing, oh, it's going to be Brock Lesnar. We saw Paul Heyman on the show. Okay. Well, we're hearing, okay, it's going to be so and so. It's going to be
Becky.
so-and-so.
I thought it was going to be
Becky. You even thought it was going to be Becky. But, I'm sitting there like during Seth's entrance, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Thinking about it. It's got to be something that we're not expecting. So I'm expecting the biggest curveball that they can throw, because they're not going to bring Brock out, because that's going to screw up, whoever wins. They're going to get cashed in right then and there. So
Hey,
I hear Lacey's Evans. I'm like, oh, good God. I knew it. They're going to throw a curveball, and this is it.
Yeah, it was good.
Time out. Are you talking Lacey Evans on SmackDown, Raw? Like what?
Her outfit from
Stomping
Grounds. It looked the bottom half looked like something from the KFC bucket.
Yeah, she had white trunks with red stripes. And so it did kind of give.
Who wore it better?
It was kind of, but I will say I really enjoy her outfits. I mean, I think they're fun. They're playful.
For being the sassy Southern Belle.
Yeah, she's got a great character. Fuck you. Her character's over, okay?
First of all,
but her in-ring
Matt,
is not there.
All I'm saying
NXT.
is if I'm ordering a bucket of chicken, I want more chicken than that.
More thigh, more breasts.
Okay.
And more crispiness to it.
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
So this leads directly.
I wasn't going there.
Hold on.
I was just saying.
This leads directly into our final topic.
Okay.
And this is a crazy topic. I don't know if anybody's going to be listening this far down the pod, but
if you've been this far, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And enjoying the show.
You missed the greatest part if you didn't make it this far. But here we are talking about breasts. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous right now, guys. Okay?
Yum, yum.
Ask me why.
Why, Matt, are you thinking about breasts?
And being nervous. I'm not thinking about breasts.
Okay, why are you
just
being nervous?
I'm nervous. Is the WWE going to do something crazy? So crazy, like a lesbianic gimmick between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose?
Yes.
Because it got weird.
Yes.
It got really weird. There was a small hesitation. Sonya.
I'm not gonna do it here. I'm not gonna do it here.
I will do it on the snowman right now. Pulls the hair back from the face.
It's like
behind her ear, and then like kind of gave her kind of this look like she was really cute. It wasn't that bad.
Well, that bad, but in that direction.
Now here's the thing: it's Pride Month, and she's the first openly gay women's wrestler in the WWE. Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose is, in their eyes, a complete smoke show. And so what I'm nervous about is that this happened all of a sudden, because they've been tagging for a while. There's been absolutely none of this, like none of it. They did the whole thing with Ember Moon, where they gave her Mandy's
magazine,
cover magazine, and you didn't sense anything from Sonya there.
No.
But on SmackDown, it got weird. And I'm just wondering, are they going to go for a lesbian angle here? And how dare they? I mean, because they have not been able to pull anything off like this anytime recent. Why would they think
they haven't pulled this one off, this kind of like interest and look, since Sable and Tori Wilson at Judgment Day in 2003?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and that bikini match or bikini challenge.
Yeah. So I'm nervous, okay? Because if this goes down, and it goes down so like awkwardly is not the word to use, but like it could end up being more awkward than it is like, hey, what are they doing for the storyline? But like Snowman, like, what do you think, dude?
Well, how about we start that on that side of the camera first?
Okay, yeah, Michael.
Let's get the man from the distant side.
Yeah, what do you
opinion.
think, dude? Let me put my shades down for this one, dude.
Huh.
I would just say that I think it's weird. One, because they're trying to kind of do that angle, and then the other reason I think it's weird is because like I've always been a guy that's like I come from the perspective of someone who, just like in the NFL when players were kneeling all the time for stuff, I want my politics and my entertainment to be completely separate. Like I don't want to. I don't know, dude.
Have them mixed.
It's just yeah, I don't want to mix. I think it's weird, and I don't trust WWE to do it in a way where it's not extremely awkward for everyone and without getting some type of backlash from some specific community.
They're gonna get
whether it's-
backlash.
Either way.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you vote for president, or if you're the president. Well, you won, but 50% of the people hate you. So.
So
it's just
you
like-
don't want it to mix. I mean, you just want them to blow it by. They don't want to go this route, and you think
Maybe like a
hey,
tease.
Not even a
I
tease.
would
That's
just-
what it was. It's already a tease.
I'm down for it being a tease, but like actually full fledged going into the storyline of it, it just makes me uncomfortable. It's weird, and
It is
I don't-
uncomfortable, but that's why I think it works. That's because
Well,
I'm
but my thing is
interested
I don't trust WWE like actually following through and making it not uncomfortable for every single person who could watch it. No matter what side of the spectrum you fall on, I just think that at some point they'll just make it really awkward for everyone.
What do you think, Snowman?
I'm actually going to say that they may do good on this one. This, we haven't had something this interesting, with, a relationship or even in this area for a long time. And to your credit, you're not going to trust how they're going to do it. It's like, I'm actually kind of interested because either way, we're either going to get one or two things. We're going to get a betrayal, and this team's going to split, or we're going to get something that's something thrown into it where it's no longer these two together as a tag team, but maybe Sonya's has feelings for someone else, and it hearts their hearts get Mandy gets involved with another superstar, and Sonya's heart's a little broken. But we're gonna get something out of this, and it's gonna somewhat be entertaining. I mean, it's gonna be very entertaining for this part. So I am actually interested in seeing this.
I mean, it's definitely going to be entertaining. It's
100%.
already entertaining. The thing about it and being entertaining is that Sonya Deville definitely deserves a push. I just wish, at least on Sonya's part, that she wouldn't be getting pushed because of her being
Lesbian.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know that her wrestling can stand up, but I feel like they're kind of going off a little gimmick in trying to push her. But it's Pride Month. I mean, I'm all for that. I'm not going to say yes or no in any which way and how you can live your life. And so now where I think it's going to really be crazy is there's no way you can see this end well.
No, this is going to be one of those, like a good soap opera drama where we're going to see, this build to like, oh, you really do like me? It's like, ooh,
yeah, but what's
whoa.
Mandy going to say? Yeah, they're going to be like, whoa, I don't play like that. And then everybody's going to hate Mandy for being like, so this doesn't end well at all.
And we're going to get a match out of this. And for once, I think with Sonya's going this route, we're actually going to be seeing a more sides of Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, because from the last couple months we haven't really been seeing that much besides here's my magazine cover and this is basically my bodyguard right here or my friend, and even at Elimination Chamber, they were teasing like they were going to split, and it didn't
They've
happen.
been teasing a split for a
They've
long
been,
time.
yeah, they've been doing that since
They
Elimination
did split,
Chamber
or Royal Rumble the year before,
and
or
Rumble.
Rumble. They've been trying to split those up for a while.
And I think they may have found the right instrument to do this with for a
Gosh.
split.
If they split, though, the only way that they get split after this is Sonya goes to kiss Mandy, and Mandy's like, whoa, dude, we're friends. And just like Michael said, that's awkward. It now became supremely awkward.
Or even if they go for the tag team titles.
Yeah, well, that's unbelievably awkward. And then now you just think Sonya Deville is going to go around kissing everybody. And so you put, where do you go from there? So that's what I'm saying is, and you know what? Like, we think WWE sucks at writing, right? So here's the thing. What if they book it to where they kiss and Mandy likes it? And then it's awkward again because it's like, well, what do they do now? You know, it's like, oh shit,
this plan A failed. Did not work. Let's go to plan B. Quick.
Oh, wow.
Give me something.
Crazy. So anyway, I think we definitely have to end this cast. It's getting weird here. Like
we've reached the point where we're talking about breasts. Yes, we kind of need
to get out of here.
Pump up the brakes and say bye-bye.
Snowman,
anyway,
sign off. Hold on. Let Snowman sign off first so I can get his mic unplugged. So, Snowman, how do you want people to find you? If so, let them know. If not, you'll come back on the show. And
oh, you know I'll be coming back on this show. It's fun.
Yes. So, do you want people to find you? Twitter, anything? You got a Twitter?
I'm on that Twitter. at AJ Snow. Hold on.
He doesn't even know his Twitter. He wasn't
off the top of the head.
He was not prepared for that question.
Break out the Cricket Wireless.
Hold on. Yeah.
No, Verizon.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
he's not. He's not that big of a mark.
I'm at that AJS Dead Snow.
AJS
on the Twitter.
Dead Snow. Welcome back, and we will see you again soon. It's always fun to talk wrestling.
We always, we're not gonna do it this way. It's wrestling.
Okay.
Too sweet.
Michael, sign off, brother.
Oh my God. What the heck is going on? Anyway, hey guys, I appreciate if you're still in it, if you're still listening, we really appreciate it. Look for us on all socials, Flex Network on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for sure. Find us on iTunes and Spotify, and give us a review, 5-star review. Leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking about any topic, anything. As always, we really appreciate you joining the show. As for myself, Matt, and the Snowman, we'll catch you later. Peace.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network. Yeah. Flex on the G. Flex.